saying, oh, you're jealous that B Cup and Black got
10 seconds.
Gods and Ponlo got a 75-minute game. Well, Danog, it seems like this is not an isolated incident in Southeast Asia. This is happening with surprising frequency.
7 times. 7 60-minute plus games went throughout the entire... How many weeks was the DPC? Like 6, 7 weeks?
7,
10
yeah.
seconds remaining.
Upper and lower division, there was 1. Like, this is how close it gets when you're at the pointy end of things, when you're on the road to TI, and when you've got these teams playing for... Like, hell, if either of these teams eventually make it, or hell, any team, you get a minimum of $100,000 making it to TI. Minimum. Like, and that's, you know, very bottom of the scale. And I feel like with this caliber of Dota, you would be placed to do much better than that.
And the prestige also. How many of these players even left inside the qualifier have even added TI to their name? Maybe like Fnatic and TNC players, but Execration, Neon, Galaxy Racer, and Boom. I'm pretty sure everyone right now in lower bracket, it would be their first TI attendance for a long. So much on the line. Not surprising at all that these games are going so long, but that's the kind of intensity that we like to see as we now begin the draft for game number 2. Aries, I think you had something notable to point out after seeing the Rubik and Enchantress being picked up first phase, and yet Execration did not respond the way you were expecting.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go again. I thought we were actually going to see the identical first phase opener. Yep, I said I want more game 1. Why not do the same draft as well? But
Radiant
go the Spectre. I don't hate the Earth Spirit though, because again, this is the opening that they were able to beat SMG with. And of course, we can't hate what BDZ did with the Earth Spirit last game. The only issue is that the Spectre got banned out. So it's just, I guess, showing that they have a little bit more priority on the Earth Spirit. And if they went Spectre, then we would have banned out the Earth Spirit best.
Bro, this seems like
early
seems like some scrim kind of intel. They first pick Rubik and then they PA. This is not normal, Danog.
Yeah, no. And against the Viper as well, right? You've got the Nether Toxin, you've got a break to be able to be good against the Phantom Assassin. It's... I'm not sure how I feel about it, but the Magnus is still in the pool. They might, you know, do a bit of a throwback. You can have the Enchantress throw that into the position 5 role. We were talking before about how, you know, when you've got, for example, the Nature's Prophet, it's not really something that Skem and Natsumi can play these days since Skem's movement, but we saw now Enchantress can be played 4 or 5. It's clearly in both of their wheelhouses, and maybe that's what will be necessary with this PA being picked up.
Now this is looking very much like their one draft against SMG, where it was Viper or Spirit Treant, and then they picked Templar Assassin and Ember Spirit as their last 2 picks on Execration, and it was a safe lane Ember Spirit, mid lane Templar Assassin. Not gonna happen. Neon's 1 step ahead. We got Bat Rider already.
Yeah, no TA coming through this time around. It would have been nice prior to that, you know, PA doesn't do that amazing against the TA, but Bat Rider, some good heads-up play coming through from Neon to make sure that doesn't happen.
This is such incredible drafting from either team. You see the Tree Protector getting picked up. PA is a hero that isn't really a Manta builder. Like, you really don't want to be going into that. So EKB is going to kite through you. And Tree loves holding tier 1 towers early, and we know PA is kind of more of a farming orientated position 1, so you're not going to be able to get those towers. Answered by the Bat Rider. You see the both duo support from Execration. Again, we harped on last game. You don't have a hard dispel. Bat Rider is going to tear you apart in the late game. We saw what Yopaj did. We're going to potentially see what he's already done. And the Bat Rider is also protected already because they banned the Phantom Lancer in the 2nd phase. So Neon, incredible drafting for them too.
And Execration are covering their bases of it potentially being an offlane Bat Rider as well, because with the Phantom Lancer being banned out of the guess, they're like, okay, we may want to put this Bat Rider sideline, so we'll ban out the Templar Assassin.
Yeah, and of course, good matchup against the Puck as well, so something that they were also considering, but how they're going to do this, because right now, Bat Rider, he wants to kind of get in on the front lines, but there's no one there that can soak up a ton of damage. Maybe it might force the Enchantress into being this position 5 role.
Get a DK also. DK is suspiciously not banned out at all.
Yeah, it was one of those heroes that we talked about prior to game 1 that is going to be pretty hotly contested. Still no Mirana. I'm a little disappointed that my prediction for that one didn't come to fruition, but you know, it's not an amazing Mirana game. I feel like oftentimes where it shines is when you've got obviously the easy setup into it with something like the Dragon Tail, for example, and still, again, this is not stun gaming. You've got, you know, a Puck with the Dream Coil, which is kind of that. You've got the Earth Spirit roll, and you've got the Overgrowth, and Lasso and Telekinesis is all that's left. But they're going to go a Luna, not care about all of that evasion that might be coming through from the PA when you can eventually transition into doing some kind of magic.
You have to consider building a BKB now as a Phantom Assassin, as much as I'm sure she probably hates doing so, but you're against Overgrowth, Dream Coil, a likely magic damage Luna, and the Nether Toxin that we talked about from the first
Plus being silenced up by this Earth Spirit. This is the first time I've seen Neon play Void Spirit in quite a while. Like, it is a Yopaj special.
We're in for a treat. We are in for a treat.
Wonder why it's really dropped off the face of the map. I remember watching like some stats that Knoxville did for the NADPC, and Void Spirit was like the constant across every single mid laner, and now it's just completely fallen by the wayside. But let's see if Yopaj has the tools to be able to, you know, maybe put it on the map a little bit more again.
What is the Void Spirit? Any of the other spirits? I think Ember was still in the pool. I'm not sure if Storm was. What's a Void Spirit offering here? Because we still don't have any frontline. You were saying it's pretty much just Enchantress. Void Spirit kind of does, but only against physical damage, and we already talked about there's a lot of magic coming from Execration.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe it's his role just to try and get in onto the front lines, get that super early Acceptor, and try and disrupt the impact that BDZ might have. But we saw that up until the 40-minute mark, it was Execration being the ones that were the aggressors. They were the ones constantly trying to push Neon back, and well, it is going to be another CTM Enchantress as well. So I'm not quite as certain how this lane's going to go. You know, Jug, Rubik, there was the potential, of course, for those early kills with the Blade Fury. But this time around, with even with a tri-lane to begin with, I'm not sure if a PA is going to be able to dish out enough to secure.
Well, if Execration go down here, they're going down swinging. It's very much the same draft that they beat SMG with. Let's see if they can replicate that success in game number 2. Dan Aries, take it away.
Tsunami, game 2, elimination match now. Execration, if they want any hope of forcing a game 3, this is the lineup that they're able to do it with. Some comfort heroes, to say the least. We've seen Yahweh already through the qualifiers absolutely pop off on the puck. And before we get too ahead of ourselves, we've got a bit of a smoke on smoke action. They were almost diverging to connect with each other. I'm such a big fan of the AWR chats from a lot of the Southeast Asian players. They're just so close with each other. You see kind of the camaraderie come through.
I mean, this is the Filipino Dota, right? This is the Rambulan coming through. 10 Pinoy players facing up against each other. I'm not sure if there's like, you know, depending on what island you're from, if you're from Zon or that sort of thing, but who knows? All right.
That is not a place you want to be. It's a full Radiant Heroes into his demise. Now Execration, they're trying to take the fight. And Batrider's not there at the moment. Slowly we're going to see Enryu waddle his way to help out if a further fight continues to break out. What do they have left in the tank though? First blood, that should be it.
3 runes maybe for Neon. He's going to be able to walk his way towards the top side. Does a bat waddle though? Like he's more of a flyer than a waddler.
Yeah. Like kind of flying sounds like you're like waddle's slow, and he was kind of moving a little bit slow, but flying, like to me, I just think of it, it's faster in a way. So just kind of describing the slow, yeah. But we are again seeing this tri-lane, so the emphasis last game, you have to shut down the Viper through the early levels. Hits that second point in the poison attack, lane can start to become disastrous.
Totally happy to have this solo as well on Neon though. You need levels on the Batrider. That's why oftentimes we are seeing it picked as that gotcha mid lane pick when people forget about it and it's in a really good matchup. But if you're able to give him this solid start, then there is even some decent kill potential when you've got the Enchantress. You know, when CTM starts to make the rotations through, you're gonna still have that enchant. And that's gonna be double slows against something that's relatively squishy like a Luna.
I love what they're doing on CTM. We saw last game just the recognition already. Like, these teams do not have long in between the break, but your Dire in particular, they're doing the same things to block camps. And CTM's like, all right, you're gonna do that, I'm just gonna go to your triangle. I'll take Centaur Conqueror, armor camp away, and now I've got a creep to play with.
I wonder how good they're going to be on point with the stacks coming out here, because you've got a Luna, one of the best junglers in the entire game. Are they going to make full use out of that Nico? He's in a bit of trouble here.
Wow. That's a lot of damage. The level 2 Natsumi and Januel. And they can take the tower because the Centaur Conqueror. Timing now expires. They're able to get a double kill. Januel, your position 5. Is able to pick up both.
He's the carry now. Well, still not top in the net worth. That first blood on Yopaj, leaving him in good stead. Yeah, things looking real solid for Neon to start things out. And it's going to even put more impetus on the fact that these stacks are going to need to build up. Dire side, jungle, it's where you want to be as a Luna.
And it doesn't really seem like the Earth Spirit is one of the better supports to be able to create those stacks for someone like a Luna. So
yeah,
I really wonder how that's going to come into play, because we saw it last game as well. Something we were bringing up is that the Enchantress wasn't putting as much emphasis on making those stacks for the Batrider. Maybe might be freed up a little bit more this game because of how well that bottom lane went. All eyes on the supports movements early on once again.
Yeah, for sure. And you can just see where CTM is positioning himself. He wants to make sure that these stacks aren't happening, even though Earth Spirit, he's one that wants to be brawling. He can't just be standing around here. I wonder if he's going to even just allow the camp to spawn. No. Test with BZ. He's going to take away the bounty rune as well. So some really, it's a different type of gameplay, right? It's a lot more harassment, a lot more annoying. And I suppose that's what you're kind of considering you've got a PA, right? Like, this is a Natsumi staple. Both teams going for what brought them to this stage.
So how do we feel about the mid lane though? Yopaj up against the Puck. Is there a hero that you feel like might be a little bit more favorable in the lane?
I think it breaks even. You know, the first blood was obviously going to help him having a little bit of extra stats. He was able to get an earlier bottle, so that refill on the, I believe it was the top rune, really impactful for him. But it's always the factor of, I wonder what he's going to be building into. Like, is it going to be straight Ags? Is he going to go a Yule Scepter to be able to try and get the combinations in onto the Puck? Because again, lacking a lot of stuns for this Puck, it's going to be hard to kill him prior to having that silence coming through from the Ag Scepter.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if he doesn't use this game. The setup for the Puck, the silence to purge it off, the overgrowth as well to get rid of it. And that's something I want to bring up, is that there are definitely some ways you can deal with the Void Spirit this game until he gets some of those defensive items. Rules, maybe BKB. Oh, do have some aggression. Still doesn't have a second point up in the poison attack. Backing up the charges, but meanwhile Natsumi and Januel just turn their attention to deal with Execration's position 5. They can't fight on top of the Nether Toxin, so it's going to cost Natsumi as he has to push back to safety, but he's actually still going to blink on forward. He's able to clean up all 3. Is it going to be a 5-minute triple kill? It's not. As BDZ, he just gets the roll away, but this bottom lane already for Neon with a 2,000 net worth lead.
Even getting the bottle refill onto Yopaj, getting the D-Ward. Neon, they're in their element. They're feeling themselves right now. A lot of farm being given over to these cores. Even just Gaben once more smiling upon OB.Neon. They were able to get the Harpy Storm Crafter. So enables CTM, especially into a tri-lane, to have so much damage impact super early on.
How about this top lane here?
Sorry, I just want to point out something really quickly. Have a look at the Dire Triangle. How often do you see, with a Luna lineup, you're sentry warding your own hard camp because you're just worried about the Enchantress?
Right, like, yeah. Mid lane as well. One more second. Might not have enough time. Yopaj. Does he want to dive this? He's got Astral Step. He's already used 1 charge. Gonna go in. So, yeah, he's dive blocked there in hard camp.
Yeah.
Good old CTM. If he can't get his own creeps in his jungle, then deal. He's gonna make sure he can get them anywhere across the map.
Have there been any stacks built up yet, though? I don't think there's any right now on the Dire side.
Even Radiant as well, again, for someone like Batrider. Going to be nice if he's able to have those stacks to pass to travel. But how about this top lane? I know we're 6 minutes in. We see Luna's 35 last hits doing incredibly well compared to the 20 on the Batrider. We feel like there might be an early rotation from Neon to force Palos into the jungle, or they're just trying to play their own game here.
Well, I wonder how good their communication actually is with regards to, like, what kind of harassment Enryu is taking. Pause that for a second as we've got 3 people down on this bot side. Korea not dying before the Ring of Help gets delivered.
Actually committed full with the Phantom Strike. So they sense a sign of weakness here. The ability on
Yopaj is here.
but a great rotation. Even Palos wants a shot. He's got an early point in the ultimate. Maxed out beam. Brings down the Phantom Assassin from downtown. Is a 1 for 2. And now Palos is on
middle
the bottom side. And honestly, is this where you want to be for the Luna? Because you were free farming top.
Yeah, and that's kind of, you mentioned the point being put into the ultimate pretty early on. If they were communicating, they would see that they don't have the Moonglaives available. So yes, you're scaring in a team fight. If you're able to make a big rotation and push him out of that lane into the jungle, he's not going to have as much farming capability considering there's no glaives bouncing around.
We're also still yet to see our first rotation from Yolway. Both mid laners have a lot of tempo controlling early. As soon as I say that, they're going to smoke up. They've already got 3 heroes to connect through down block.
Bot lane, they're already diving tower.
In, so he has to retreat, and it looks like the Rubik is going to be the sacrificial lamb. I don't believe they'll cut off Natsumi's positioning there, so they get a kill. That will be a pretty early tower. I don't know if Radiant can come down to defend it.
I don't think they can either, and honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that Natsumi, went back down to the bottom side of the map, considering they would have known that Luna TP'd away. So you don't really have anyone contesting you on the top side. I suppose just prioritizing.
Hey, Yopaj, she's in. Coil drop. Palace's respectable amount of health to be able to stick around. Coil's been wasted. Yolway. Telekinesis, he doesn't get the jaunt away. Sticks around for a little bit too long. And I was saying that Neon, I didn't think they'd be able to defend bot, but in fact, they do just that. They're looking to push on for more. You don't want to dive too far. Kick back still, Eclipse holding at the moment. Yopaj, she commits forward with the beams. They're raining down on Jean Yuel instead. Yopaj is able to sidestep up, and now Palos is going to be careful. Natsumi jump back in. CTM. Seeing what can happen on an Enchantress if you're able to freely dish out the impetus. I know it's only level 2,
back in,
but it's still stacking up. And have another round of the ultimate, but Yopaj, 3 points resonant pulse, that's plenty. You don't see the Void Spirit too often, but a Yap Boy Void Spirit is one we are always treated by when he plays it.
I mean, you mentioned that they don't have a ton of right-click damage now, and it's basically all magic, but you're very happy to take these big team fights, considering you've got the 4 points in the Resonant Pulse. Yopaj is huge. He had a full bottle, able to be refilled towards the start of that. He's going to be able to go back and pick up the Bounty Rune after pushing this mid lane in. And all this time, Enryu, he's just been sitting happily on the top side. 9.5 minute boots of travel coming out from him, so he's going to be able to put a lot more pressure out onto Palace. You can go for a smoke dive here onto the Luna because you know that the Eclipse was used on the bot side. How are you going to turn it around? I don't think you can.
And the worry that I have right now as well is the fact that no one with all the space and all the fights that has been going on down bot is farming too well for Execration. I mean, I know Luna's 30 net worth, but you don't have maxed out glaives. And I was kind of thinking Luna is a flash farming hero compared to someone like a Phantom Assassin. You have to itemize for that. You need a Battle Fury. But Natsumi's already got 2 components. He's 3-1 and 6, top of the net worth. And that's not an easy lane versus the Viper. But you see they're able to recognize how can we give Natsumi a good time early. Try and start with the tri-lane. They bring the numbers down. Any rotation from Yopaj was too hot. Now with the fact that Luna, lacking levels, went for the build to kind of win the lane instead, might just give them the time for PA that should help farm.
You didn't even win the lane. That's the downside, right? Bat Rider, he's been able to sit back. He eventually did have a little bit of a rough time at the very beginning, but these team fights did not go the way Execration were thinking. You have to think, you mentioned no TI veterans in the lower side of the bracket, so you have to wonder, are some of these nerves potentially starting to get to the players?
Scan, so they know they're on the high ground. And 2, but the Eclipse as well. Palace down to the southern side, kills off Enryu. Yopaj is not going to get back to safety. The Viper Strike will tick him through with the poison. I believe Zhao should make it as well.
Oh, he rolling bowled it away.
It's a big fight though for Execration. Great scan. Scouts out that movement into the triangle. 2 big kills. And also Palace getting some experience as well. So now he's got 2 points in glaives. And we should start to see his farms skyrocket.
For sure. RR's build been like so far? Just pretty standard RR build. Hit 2 points into the leech seed. He wants to make sure that his presence at a lot of these tri-lanes, these early engagements, is as high as possible. Really big value, doubling the effectiveness from level 1 to level 2, and then it's just all about the living armor. But still, the fact that that tier 1 tower top went down so quickly, they're not going to be feeling too happy about that on Execration.
You like that Palos is not opted for the Mask of Madness this game? Feels like that's something we see often just to, again, flash farm, but going for a little bit more of the stat-orientated build, it looks like.
I mean, you mentioned it, like, it doesn't provide any kind of stats, I suppose, and considering the start that both the PA as well as the Void Spirit have had, you just don't want to be this glass cannon. You know, you're the core. If you die, it is a huge deal. It's not like this Pos 4 Enchantress that, well, you're Pos 4, right? You will eventually have some kind of an impact into it.
Either team now smoking up Radiant, trying to connect to the triangle because they were aware of the stack, but a little bit too late on that one.
Dire's
Neon
bottom tower is under attack.
going to be cautious now with the Phantom Assassin positioning. But Natsumi seems like he's pretty aware right now of the capability. I say that.
See you later.
Not a spot you want to roll into, to say the least. 3 heroes in Execration. They're coming over though. Want to look to try and get a return kill. Xiaowei,
Oh, they got him
too, but in the meanwhile, Yopaj is on the prowl. It's a drag back with the remnant. Xiaowei still orbs back up. Should be okay here. So they're going to look to turn it back around as they're kiting this further and further back to their side of the map.
Again, they've got the vision, so hopefully Neon look to place down a sentry ward. They know that the smoke was there. They know that the rotation was there. You don't make a 3-man movement like that without placing down some kind of vision.
Meanwhile, with all that time, they're on top of the net worth. That is your Battle Fury completed for Natsumi, and he also has a triple stack at the Ancients. That is a incredible Battle Fury timing. Treads, Orb of Venom, so definitely not naked to say the least. He's only level 9 though, but yeah, we'll see that start to pick up here.
It happens when you're in a tri-lane, right? You're always going to be splitting the experience away with everyone else. So Luna, right now, having a little bit of that XP lead, but that's going to change around massively, like you mentioned. With that early Battle Fury picked up, they can give him a good amount of solo experience, as I think it's a 4 stack right now of Ancients.
I wonder if they'll make it a 5th before he tries to take that one.
Yeah, and we were talking about in the draft, it's very annoying to be playing against all of this magic damage, so that BKB is queued up already.
Well down again. We just see supports running into the land where you really don't want to be. Appreciate to no man's territory being brought down. Okay, Ara does have a smoke. It's going to be a bit too late. They had a really nice observer ward up top in the lane that scouted out the PA, falling back to the triangle area, and they also knew that he had the Battle Fury. So I thought maybe if they had a smoke, they could have contested it, but it just got delivered a little bit too late. They're going to take it instead. Nice timing. Roll in, kick back. Alice is a little bit too late. Regardless, that beam, not a long enough stun duration. They've got the lasso. And Ryu, the perfect target.
Remnant just held him in place there inside the fire, getting hit by the tower. Fantastic play by Yopaj. Costs him both of his astral steps to get away. I mean, it feels like this game, Neon are doing the small things better, you know. Natsumi there was in the blur, farming that big ancient stack. He had 2 heroes moving around beside him, and he actually waited. He stopped. He realized, okay, I've got this experience disadvantage. I need to be a little bit greedy here. I need to make sure I'm taking all of that solo experience away. So he just stood in the blur for a good 5 seconds and said, guys, get the hell away from me. I need to be able to catch up so that I can deal with this later on.
Lane clips along with the overgrowth. Double ultimates committed for the kill on Enryu. They will find it as Palos claims that one. 341 gold to the bank there of the Luna, who is officially now top of the net worth.
Pretty early Blink Dagger as well here, picked up by RR.
Bottom tower is under attack.
This is something that Execration have advantage of in their team fight.
Radiant's
the
bottom tower
coil,
has fallen.
magnetize, eclipse, overgrowth. You take a look at Radiant though, very single target orientated. Void Spirit, pretty much the only one that's gonna have that AoE damage. So we've seen time and time again. I mean, these late game fights, I know, well, 16 minutes in, but when it gets to that stage, that's where team fight really starts to shine, unless you can get that pickoff. So Ryder did an incredible job
Dire's
last
top
game, but you've got to be
tower is under
careful going
attack.
head-to-head versus Execration.
And it's going to be on Zhao once more as well,
attack.
right? We saw last game, he was able to steal, I believe, 3 different supernovas. He was taking nether toxins. It was a pretty solid performance coming out from him, but this game, there's some even better spells to steal. There's Dream Coils, there's Overgrowth.
Radiant's
What do we
middle
feel
tower
like the
is
next
under attack.
item, speaking about Zhao, where'd he go? Just jaunted back to...
Just into the cause, you know?
why not? Like, oh, maybe I can trick him. Maybe I can just play my cards here to somehow get away, but not the case. What do we feel like could be the itemization here for Ark? So we see he's got that blink. Could it be like a potential solar crest to just buff up Palace as much as possible? Or is it a bit more of a utility item or defensive item, I suppose?
I feel like the Soul Crest is totally fine, right? Because you're eventually going to have to deal with this PA, and that extra armor that it's going to provide is going to be massively useful. Hell, even just having the armor when you're not using it on yourself is going to be great. And then, yeah, having not gone for that Mask of Madness build on Palace, just providing him with that little bit of extra attack speed as well if you were to use it on your own teammate, it's going to be super.
So another support that's items is starting to progress here is CTM. That's Treads, Dragonlance, and guess what? When it's not the Ballista, the Dragonlance, the Growbow can do a decent amount of work here for someone that likes to sit further on the back line. And we saw early on in the game 1 that Spectre Haunt was causing issues for CTM. This time, it's going to be a little bit more different from someone like a Luna.
But you've got a lot more ways now to get on top of CTM as well, even in the early game. Like, your way, he's going to dive in, he's going to use all that magic damage. Still, no point in the Untouchable, actually just got 1 point there at level 9. But that Witchblade, in addition to all the magic damage, should be able to take out
Dire's
Skem
top
pretty
tower
quickly.
is under attack.
Positioning even more important as they make another dive.
ADT. Doesn't get the connection
Radiant's
without the stuns.
under attack.
Trying to scurry away. Yopaj.
Oh, nice!
I think the yours timing.
Radiant's
Oh, Yopaj can he get away though? Actual step still could have
Rosh
maybe
denied?
denied from Rosh. Yopaj! Oh my. Maybe they just said Rosh instead. It's like, okay, we've got to get to revenge. You killed the Void Spirit. We got to take your life for that.
Sure, you get the assist, you know, if Roche is the one that eventually takes you down, but I guess not. You've got Area rotating through as well, though. He has enough money to be able to buy the Blink Dagger, but doesn't have it yet. Trying to save up for that BKB.
Oh, great overgrowth. Hunted 2. They'll kill off the bat, kill off CTM. They see how important this fight needs to be around the Roche pit. They're going to buy back on the Enchantress. I know the ultimates were committed there.
Radiant are
So I
scanning.
don't believe Execration can actually stick around for this. And maybe Radiant, if they get some information, that Roche might think about it. PA still without Deso might be a little bit too hard. They're going to smoke up though. Let's see
She's
the
got
angle they
BKB
want to
though.
take.
Radiant's middle tower
Very
is
early
under attack.
BKB. Alos. Hooked up again on Execration.
Goes into 4.
Look at this art as well. The Earth Spirit, BKB not popped just yet. Natsumi now will do so. And the jump on forward as well. Great ward in the backline. They're going to be able to utilize that for a Phantom Strike target. And Execration have to sound the retreat. They're actually going back in. They caught out Yopaj. Coil drop. He's not down just yet. How they stole the coil. Zhanyuo, what a steal. Locking him in. But Natsumi, he's unable to man fight here with the BKB on Kuda, but it doesn't matter. It's all on Yopaj. The DD still paying off drastically as they get the flame break into the lasso. 5 down on Execration.
Oh, he was playing with fire, you could tell,
Dire's middle tower is
considering
under
that,
attack.
you know, the Void Spirit was playing with such little HP, but eventually able to get it back. Too much used in the form of ultimates on either side, to be honest, in that particular team fight. So that might lead Execration to think, all right, well, when we respawn, we might be able to go. No Bat Rider
Radiant's
Lasso
middle
available.
tower is under attack.
More importantly, just little by little, the net worth increasing for Void Spirit in particular. This Ag Scepter timing is going to be the key moment of importance for him. He's going to get that around the level 15 mark, and CTM is in no man's land.
I've seen a couple too many supports dying in a peculiar position. He also bought back as well. Yep, 70 seconds. It's the health of Roche. It's about 2/3, but I mean, look at the lanes, not in a good spot. And I feel like Execration only went for Roche because they literally got a kill or Roche denied while they were all in there.
Yeah. It's not bad, though. You've got the Manta style, so he's going to be able to push out that bottom side. Eventually the illusions go away, but mid lane pushed in. Yeah, why not? No lasso, no enchantress. Roche already kind of weak. Could this be another Yopaj special?
Stole the
No,
ages.
yes. They do know. They use the illusory orb underneath the Radiant Observer. But she's just standing there.
How big is his Aegis going to be now for Execration on the Luna? Do you feel like this is going to allow them to take towers and pressure the PA who doesn't seem to be online just yet?
Speaking of the PA, she's getting on.
TP's still on cooldown. They're going to be able to find it before a BKB TP out.
Nice BKB.
He's going to stand his ground in man fight. As Palace with the Eclipse on the backline, but the Overgrowth controlling the Phantom Assassin. He needs a target to Phantom Strike to. Back to the creeps, but the BKB's now expired. And the rotations, they're a little bit too late. Yopaji's finally going to show up, but they've lost Natsumi. A drag back with the lasso will claim a kill on the Ursper, but now they don't have the numbers advantage. As CTM will fall as well. And Execration find 3 under the T1 tower, and they smell more blood. Go away, blink in, and Ryu, he's gonna get caught. 4 down.
This feels like it's just the Yopaj show. He needs to be the one trying to get as much out of this as he can, because you still don't have the value out of the Battle Fury, right? You went for that BKB because you wanted to be able to take these early team fights, and if these team fights aren't going your way, that is a lot of farming capability that you've just passed away. See here, level 18 already on this Luna compared to the 16 on the Phantom Assassin. So that's going to be a big deal. Next key timing, of course, that Desolator. You have to think even with that.
Are they actually going to fight your post? Like, I don't think you're going to be able to kill me, brother. Pretty beefy. You see, Nico's actually kind of switched up build this game. We saw a bit more of the utility. I believe it was a mech into the Lotus as the first 2 items from Nico in game 1. He's gone the Pike into the AC that's queued up here. And we also see the talent, the attack speed. So he's looking to scale a little bit more.
About 2 or so minutes away from Neon's key timings. They're making a smoke play here. Execration side to try and take advantage of that. They're going to get the kickback onto CTM in time, and that Nether Toxic should take him down. Obviously not wanting to take the team fight just yet, because again, you're about 800 gold away from Blink Dagger on your Bat Rider. You've now got your Ag Scepter, and I feel like you still need that Desolator on Natsumi. So maybe now, when the Enchantress comes back up, you could be looking to go, but that's going to be into a Luna with Aegis. She's going to have her Eclipse back up in about 10 seconds or so. You've got everything online, and you know, it was a good use of the BKB as well previously by Natsumi to avoid the kickback into the Dream Call stun, but I think that's only about 350 gold away from Yoe having his own Ag Scepter.
He's so farm. 18 as well, coils maxed out, and you're always a big fan of highlighting any cute synergies they have team and hero-wise with the coil. They've got the kick at the moment, so it's not something like a mag skewer, for an example, but it could definitely come into play. That is now 2 ultimates that are going to be able to control you through BKB. I mean, Overgrowth is 5 seconds maxed out. Coil is a ridiculous amount with the Aghanims as well. That's 8 seconds. So this BKB on Phantom Assassin, it's, I don't want to say a waste of gold, but it's definitely not going to provide you something that it usually does.
It's been punished heavily. And it's not like your supports are saves either. You know, CTM doesn't want to be in the midst of things with his Nature's Attendants. He's gone this Glass Cannon build again. Wants to be dishing out damage in his own right. Got the Desolator available. How long left on Aegis? A minute or so. So see if they look to just give up this tower or continue to fight on forward. It's going to be right.
That's a great BKB. Instantly, the puck's gonna get brought down. It's not the start that Execration are looking for. And now with Luna on the front line, Lasso drags them away, so Januel's gonna be able to keep their life, and Nico's pretty weak. They actually just have to sacrifice Palos. What do they? Reset, roll in, BDZ. He's just trying to get any attention he can brought on himself so Palos can get back to safety. But they're retreating underneath the observer ward. Oh, they got a real one man top, but it's not enough. Palos, can he still stand his ground in man fight? It's pretty beefy, but it's not enough. We'll drag him back to his demise. As I say that, Natsumi, he might kick out and he will. The poison attack will claim the kill with the help of the double damage rune. but 4 will fall on Execration. An incredible way for them to take the fight against the ages advantage that Dire had.
Get away on RR, but just the small things. Really good positioning by Neon, making sure that they're staying between their tier 2 and tier 3, taking advantage of all that extra armor that standing around that area provides you. And in the end, Yoe, he's been playing a pretty damn good game. That time around, though, he only caught the Rubik inside the Dream Coil, and that was the key difference there.
Now this one, even with the net worth, look, it's just favoring Execration at the moment. Oh, he's thinking about going on RR. Feel like he's got the damage. No, maybe. That is a fat wave. Looks like he just wants that.
He wants the farm.
How do we feel?
Picked up. Astral Step, recharge time chosen. So I think that's going to be the thing. Like, we were talking about it, they're lacking a frontliner. Yopaj is their frontliner. Like, he is putting a lot onto his back. There was a time when Void Spirit was just released where I was like, man, this guy's strength gain is way too high. It's been reduced since then to just 2.6, so that's nice. Now that you're not just this beast that can do everything in the game, but when you've got the item build like he has, you've still got a good amount of HP survivability in this game, even with all of these silencers and roots that Execration have on their side.
And not just Yopaj as well, with the level 20, Natsumi is closing in on that one as well. So essentially the armor corruption. He's also going for an Aghanims as the next item here. Do you like this itemization from the position 1?
Why not? It provides you with a basic dispel, I believe. So that's going to be nice against the overgrowth, not needing to pop the BKB for that.
But big items we're seeing potentially come out. AC's closing in. Lotus Orb as well from RR is about to be completed. Hellas, only one component to the BKB. So do you feel like this might just be a couple of minutes where we'll see either team try and get these items?
Yeah, sit back and farm for the next little bit, I believe. I mean, you've still got the tier 1 tower in the mid lane, so you're feeling a bit more confident about doing it right now on Execration, especially given that you've got a Luna, it's nighttime. I think Neon are totally happy for that to be the status quo. You know, only 700 gold away from this Ag Scepter. It's going to be a little bit away from Void Spirit's BKB. I don't think you'll have that available by the time this next team fight breaks out, but you will have the 4-star. Actually, no, he's opting to go into the Axe Shard instead. I made a bit of a blunder during our post-game last time, thinking that it was still the old fun one, but now it's just the double flame rings. Boring, boring, boring Dota.
Still rate this Axe Shard though, because I've actually seen it be done a decent amount. What makes the double flame break so good?
I mean, it means that you can just use it to farm a lot more effectively, right? You can just toss it into a wave with a couple of stacks of the napalm and then just get on out. It's kind of like, it was AUI that referred to stuff like ghost push, basically.
Regeneration!
Like illusions, or you can use things that allow you to immediately get out of the lane and have a team fight impact, but also change the status of the map.
And with how slow this game is transitioning at the moment as well, we're actually going to see Smoke up. Radiant feel like they're in a position.
He could be banked though.
Showing mid. The lasso, it's actually on the Viper. Bring that coil though. Nico's actually still alive now, but the coil, keep in mind that's the Aghanims. So they're wasting the BKB duration of the Phantom Assassin, and Palace is able to stand his ground and right click. Back inside the river with the overgrowth, the controlling 3. They'll bring them both down and they're in trouble. EDZ, one more right click, he'll fall. But still, Neon, you see the BKB piecing stuns. It's kiting them too heavily, in particular the Phantom Assassin in these fights.
Yeah, and they've got the range to be able to just... Tria Protector doesn't want to be right in the middle of the team fight. You've got the Dragon Lance on the Luna, so she could just walk away from where the Dream Coil is, even being able to deal a decent amount of damage, having gone that Aghanim Shard. Natsumi, thankfully for Neon fans, was able to get away on basically 100 HP. Still, another team fight going the way of Execration with Rosha, that Axe Shard, who they could give it over to. Your way? Just another way to, yeah, maybe just another way to be able to break these Dream Coils.
Yeah, they honestly don't have the greatest shards on their team. Luna already having one, then it's the Treants. I don't even know.
I guess it's the start. I believe. Oh, the root instead of the start. My bad.
Roshan has tapped into the diamond.
Is Nick? Okay, Nico's actually gonna take it.
I don't hate it.
Don't hate it, but I feel like the shard just really gives you power push. That's it.
Yeah, but when you've got a Luna, tower push already, so it just turns like, you know, maybe one tower into two, or maybe, you know, a tier 3 tower into a tier 3 tower and racks.
Yeah, and I guess if Radiant don't have buybacks, then that, like, could easily be game. We see what can happen when Luna walks up your high ground with your tier 3 down, just glaives bouncing back and forth, and it's so hard to then get the jump with the just being too disorientated. But Aya take a fight here. Is they're gonna smoke up. CTM's the target.
Oh no. To be fair, it was a very quick piece. Yeah, just 1 second.
It is. Love the CTM. What he said though. It's just lag sec, even though he knows he's dead. It's just like nothing else to say there.
Glass cannon though. It's got the magic resistance, but I don't think that's going to be saving him. He has enough for buyback. 3 gold away from buyback, so yeah, basically has it.
What do Radiant need to do now, knowing that the Enchantress is going to die? Do you just want to see them try and get to Hop and maybe even someone to wrap around mid to cut the wave? Do they have to reset maybe for a potential high ground defense? What do you want to see them do here?
Just trying to see, like, did your opponent just TP back to base? Is that what just happened?
Yeah, his TP's on cooldown, 77 seconds.
Yeah, I thought he might be, like, in the process of TPing somewhere, but I can't see anywhere on the map that being lit up by a TP scroll, because he's got the BKB. You know, you could potentially have that turnaround with the Enchantress having the buyback available if they were to use a decent amount to be able to take him out, but it's always so scary fighting into all of this. And the puck even now has the Aeon disc, so that chain lockdown, the silences, it's probably not going to be enough, and you can't even go on the puck with the Batrider lasso anymore. You know, he's going to be able to get away.
Who is the target you want to jump on now? Because, I mean, maybe, honestly, you actually target Palos when they walk up higher ground, lasso, drag him back under the tier 4 tower. I cannot imagine he's going to survive, although he's goddamn tanky, 3,000 health. It feels like if you kill him super deep and after the respawn, maybe you can kill him a second time. Or do you just want to go on another core instead? I
mean, I feel like you might kill him. You can kill him once, but the second time he's going to be able to get that Eclipse off. You know, to be able to kill him the first time, he'll use all of your CC.
He'll take it. No, there's no way I make it away.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Nice move from Execration. I mean, it is a pick off on a support, but it should be able to transition that to a tier 2 tower. And I do want to see, maybe Neon can get a jump before Execration are ready to gun push. This is something that in that
Radiant's
game.
middle tower has fallen.
A prize.
You just saw the to the Ag shot already, though. You know, that tower had minus 7-8 armor, I believe. Completely melted to the Luna, and it means they're able to get out. Time for Natsumi? No.
Oh, that was a really cool scan from Execration, but this way, do I want it? Nah, he's out. But it's either team. You see the high level plays and just the awareness coming through.
I think it might come down to luck, honestly. Like, do you get some PA crits happening this game? And that's going to be putting even more importance onto this Viper. You know, if you're able to get that Nether Toxin down outside of the VKB, you can't crit anymore. Like, you just can't. The coup de grace is effectively useless.
Not again.
And,
Not again. Oh, poor CTM. Sage, it's just space. They're wanting to waste the ages. There's no tier 2 mid, so I don't believe they lose an objective. Or they feel like this time they can walk up high ground because their lanes are in a much better position than what it was previously. And Neon, they're not in a spot where they can jump up for Execration. They're set up with this push.
Got Nether Toxin though on Zhao, which is nice. He needs to make sure that that's connected in onto the Luna so that those glaives aren't bouncing around your base.
should just be a full set now.
Radiant's middle barracks.
D3 down. Lost the melee and range soon to fall as well. They're going to jump in. Lasso, great counter initiation with the claw. They're not going to be able to drag it back too far.
That's one.
Deal with the ages. And they kill him a second time though. Rolling. It eats the remnant. And they're not going to drag back Talos before the BKB. Natsumi's still looking to jump in. He knows the Radiant's Moral's on cooldown, so he won't be controlled through the magic immunity. They steal the overgrowth as well. Go Paj. Magic immune. Actually going to jump back in. Can they go here from Neon? CTM back alive. He's outside the base. Again, CTM, his position's going to be careful. The glaives will rip him apart with the glaives. The shard from Palace is enough. And our
Radiant's
objective
bottom
base
tower
gaming.
is under attack.
They're looking for the tier 3 down bot. Neon, new hero down. They don't have
Radiant's
buybacks.
bottom tower is falling.
Very close
start
on the
this?
Enchantress.
Ruvik's going to fall as well. He doesn't have a buyback either. Execration.
Radiant's bottom
They
barracks
smell
is falling.
a sense of weakness here. Maybe they're gonna hit tier 4 towers. Ruvik's got a buyback. Enchantress does as well. Nice awareness from Natsumi. Drags the creep wave into the TP. So they will survive to live another day.
It's looking like a game 3, Aries. I mean, last game did, 90% win probability, but this is 2 lanes of racks. This is a very different situation. You're always going to have lanes pressuring into you. You've even got the double siege creep waves coming now at the 35-minute mark. Bot lane, naturally going to shove in. Someone's going to need to deal with it. It's, Neon, this is the all or nothing play.
Radiant are scanning.
Everyone smokes up. They're going to try and find a pickup. It has to be Palos. It has to be,
Radiant.
but he's got the Satanic.
They should scout this out. I see the Firefly jump in. Nico once again. Firefly just the target of the lasso. Catching on the backline. Instantly brings down the trade protector, but the coral drops and the BKB might be wasted here. Look at the core duration. They're controlling. Great use of the USF to the beams. That tube is down and he doesn't have a buyback. As execration, they can push on forward. They still don't have the numbers advantage, but they have the raid bots in Luna. As Palace is too farmed for them to deal with.
It seems like just too much. That was the tipping point. They needed to kill the Luna in that fight. And, well, even now beyond that, I believe she has an E-Blade coming out to her. So just in case the PA is able to get in on top of her, she's not going to care. She's just going to sit back, either E-Blade herself, E-Blade the PA, potentially turn around with all that magic damage you've got on your side. This should be getting.
Actually going to try and burst him up. He's still available, along with 3,900 health here for the Luna. So trying to go through this health pool is going to be very difficult, including the Satanic that's also available in the arsenal from Palos. The BKBs, couple who can be committed, have to look to reset, but the creeps are going to work. T4's unhealable damage here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Kind of game where you might say, GG, end down mid. Maybe not the GG, but this is C Dota. The CGG is real, and Neon, they're not going to give this one up. No, luck could be on their side.
We saw what could happen last game.
Look at his quick buy. I don't know if you're going to be able to farm enough to be able to pick that one up. Yeah, but it feels like it's your only hope at this point. Maybe... Does anyone have buyback on Neon? That's what I want to know. Yopaj does. I feel like he needs to get out there on the map somehow with a smoke and farm up some of these tier 4 items. Maybe a spell prism, maybe something like that could give them that little bit of edge that they need, because right now it's just a slippery slope that's angling more and more towards execration.
Yeah, you'll take any little advantage you can get here for Neon. And when you're down this much, I mean, again, we saw what they could do last game. They were down, I believe, a full set and ranged racks. As in this game, it's looking more of a challenging feat for them to come back in. But if anyone's able to do it, saw previously, it's maybe Ira gonna wait for that next Roshan, which could give some space for Natsumi. I mean, still the rapier.
Blessings upon a loyal
It's going to take a little bit too long by the time Roche is up. Maybe they get lucky. Who knows? Could be a super long Roche spawn and they don't kill Natsumi for a couple minutes. We're grasping at things here, but you kind of have to.
He's nearly level 25 though, so he's doing a decent job at farming. He's been able to somehow manage his way into the jungle. Lord Gaber does not give him the RNG
Radiant's
for
top
some of these
tower
neutral
is
drops.
under
Maybe
attack.
this camp will do it. Of course not. He giveth, he taketh away.
Sumi's got to be really careful with farming this creep wave. Oh my. And this game we've also seen... Oh, that is RR?
A prize.
It's going to pop pretty shortly underneath the observer ward.
Instantly, thinks away. Not taking any chances.
Well, they see Yolway under a ward. He's a bit disconnected from the team.
He's got A on disc though. He should be okay.
Oh, quick jaunt. My lord, so close. Opage's got an E-blade queued up. Do you like this? Because it feels like Execration have an immense amount of magical damage.
Yes, but I don't think it's for that. I think it's just burst. They need to take out a target. You can see he's got the Dagons after that queued up. So they just need to absolutely wipe someone out before these key things can come through. You know, maybe it's a silence. Maybe they're trying to get a little bit cute with wanting to save their BKB a little bit longer. And just take out the Luna if you can.
Well, sorry, smoke. See how they can angle direction for this fight. And navigate through mid.
That's Miss 25. It's got, yeah, look at this. They're going full luck. Not triple stuff and dagger. They just need the extra chance that they're going to get that full 50%.
Gonna get caught with a coil! Oh, Punk! It's on to 3! He just picked up the refresher. We can have a second round with the overgrowth. It's locking them all in place. Palace is able to go to work with the glaives bouncing back and forth. The BKB is expired, and so will the Phantom Assassin's life. Buyback look to rejoin them. He's unable to close the distance fast enough. Neon, they need a reset. But CTM won't be as successful. Gonna try and split away from the team. And Sarge is there. Natsumi's back in. Keep in mind, the BKB's still on cooldown. Let's see if the grass chance can come into play. Yopaj, his evil fall. The bash is there. Is it enough for them though? They'll bring him down. Yopaj has got no buyback. They still kill off the puck. It's up to Palos now. Can you fight the Luna? I don't think you can. And again, it is Januel so hard to catch. Should be able to get the jaunt away. He's got Orb up in a couple of seconds here. I believe they will not catch him. Ooh. So slow. Force, maybe into TP. It's being used. There's the E-blade. That was the gem as well.
Middle tower is under
So
attack.
4 down on Neon. Instantly you see Natsumi trying to shove out top. It's the only lane they have to be worried about here. Housing's gold looking as well. 3,700 unfortunately because he did buy back.
Yeah, I mean, he needed to do that. He got away at the end. There's no dieback being used, but that Roche is up with the extra refresher shard. Who would you even give this over to? Maybe the Tree Protector, because I feel like the Ag Scepter came in clutch that fight on the PA, making sure that he was still able to do some damage during that overgrowth, but not with 2. There's only so much you can have. He had a Satanic, I believe, queued up.
Bounty.
Change things up and go into that, or is it not? He's just going full Divine Rapier. Not if this courier dies though with the relic.
Oh,
You can't.
no.
You can't put it onto that high ground after they've just taken Roche. You know that they've been playing in that area. Just send it through the trees. This is a TI2 throwback. HY, stay in the trees.
No, I felt like that was their only hope. We'll see.
Radiant's
We'll
top
see what they
tower
can
is
do.
under
But,
attack. Radiant structures
the last full
are
set,
fortified.
more than likely
think they can
going to
hold.
have. I mean, I was going to say maybe they're going to have to go up against Megas without a doubt, but I don't even think Execration care. They can just stick around and hit T4s after this tower dies. They're even just letting Nick go siege out of all heroes. It's got that Hurricane Pike, pack range as well with the talent, Minute of Horn,
Dire's
Ages.
bottom tower
I
is
just
under
feel like
attack.
Luna's unkillable right now.
Alice has been lassoed back into Fountain one time too many. So he's just like, you know what? I'm not even going to be part of this. Maybe now that they've taken out the tier 4 tower and the glaives can bounce.
We're still Nether Toxin. Look pretty nice here. I hear it coil. Who's called to the backline? It's the Bat Rider. Out of all heroes, you needed that lasso flicker. Maybe you're going to be able to come into play here. One more right click, it's enough. It'll bring him down. It does make space though. The Age is going to get claimed. But we saw what the Bat Rider could do for them in the game 1 to bring it back. Without this lasso potential, gonna end up losing a full set of racks. Now they have to go up against the Mega Creeps.
Against Megas. 2 minutes left.
Radiant's top
They
lane
are got to try and hold out for 2 minutes. 1, Bat Rider will be alive. 2, Courier will respawn with that Sacred Relic. I don't know if they can do it against a Luna.
Radiant's
Them?
middle tower is falling.
Not the greatest spot. He needs to get back to safety. They need every hero they can get. All these defense and while they're throwing
just ulting the
explosives,
fountain.
they're gonna jump in. One more attempt to hold this second game. Otherwise, we're going to a potential
Hold the
game
clips.
3. At the backline, Natsumi. He's gonna do as much as he can. He's targeting RR. Already one overgrowth has been used. So crit down the Trade Protector. But with the BKB on cooldown, the Phantom Assassin will fall. Fireback on CTM, they have to call it crits, as this is what we want. We were wanting a game 3, we're gonna get it.
Gonna get it. This seems a lot more like C Dota as well. About the same number of kills as last game, but 20 minutes shorter. So, Execration this time around able to take advantage of that advantage that they had in the mid game or so, and really stick it to Neon with